So as of now, we understood the non-data type. So next we have sequence types, which includes list, tuple, and a range. So let's take a brief understanding of these topics. Then we will have dedicated videos on these topics. So I'm gonna go back to my PyCharm and create a new file, a Python file actually, and I'm gonna call this sequence data type. I'm gonna hit enter. The file got created. So first we have list data type. So to write a list, let's take a variable called fruits. Then I'm gonna write the equal sign. So it's a variable. Fruits is a variable which will hold a list. So to write a list, we have to use the square bracket. Now we can have multiple elements of different data types like string, numbers, like integer, floating point numbers, and boolean as well. So being in the context for fruits, let's say we have three fruit. First up we have apple, so it's a string as it is a fruit name. Then we have banana, and then we have orange. So it's a list of three text or a fruit name. So if you are coming from JavaScript or C or other languages, you might know the concept of array. So list in Python is similar to array in other languages. So after defining the list, if I write the print statement and give here fruits, and if I run the code, you can see it prints the list. So list elements have something called index. So it is the first element, which is apple, and the index of apple is 0. It is the second element, which is banana, and the index is 1. It is the third element, which is orange, and the index of orange is 2. So as you can observe, index is equal to position minus 1. So the position of apple is 1, means first position, but the index would be 0. So if I write here a comment, index equal position minus 1, we can access these elements using the index. So if I write the print statement and write fruits, and again in third or square brackets, we can pass the index to print the specific element. So if I write here 0, it will try to find the 0th index element in the fruits list. So the 0th index element is apple. So now if I run the code, you can see the second print statement prints apple. And if I make this 1, it will print banana. So keep that in mind, index is equal position minus 1. And we can change an element using this index. For example, if I write fruits, then in square brackets, if I target the second element, which is banana, using the index 1, and if I try to assign, let's say, cake, and then if I write the print statement and write here fruits, and if I run the code again, you can see the first print statement prints apple, banana, then orange. The second element was banana. But when I told to update the second element to cake using the index 1, it replaced banana with cake. So when I wrote print fruits again, it printed apple, cake, and orange. So this was list. As you can see, it is mutable, means we can change elements from list. So if anything can be changed, we call that mutable. So lists are mutable as we can change the elements. But let's say you want list kind of thing with the similar features, but you don't want to allow the program to change the elements. So for that we have tuples. A tuple is similar to a list, but it is immutable, meaning its elements cannot be changed after creation. So if I write a variable called colors and in between parentheses, look carefully, we used square brackets while writing list, but when we define a tuple, we use parentheses. So in between parentheses, I'm gonna write red, then another color name would be green, then let's say we have another color name which is blue. So now if I write print colors and if I run the code, we can see it prints the colors. These also have index. The concept is similar like list. So index equal position minus 1. We can access them by their index. So if I write the print statement and if I write colors, then in square brackets, if I give 1, it will print the second element. So run, you can see it printed green. But as tuple is immutable, we can't change the elements. So if I try to write colors, then if I target the second element using the index 1 and if I try to make that yellow, you can see it is not allowing. So if I print colors and run the code, you can see it throws an error which says tuple object does not support item assignment. So it is immutable, but lists are mutable. After tuple, we have another thing called range. It is also included in sequence data type. Range is a built-in function used to generate a sequence of numbers. It is commonly used in loops. For example, if I write a variable called numbers and equal, if I write the range function, so built-in function offered by Python, and in between parentheses, if I pass 5, then let's try to print numbers. So if I write here numbers and run the code, you can see it prints range 0, 5, means it has a range 0 to 5 and in between. You will understand it more clearly if we do some type conversion. We will have a dedicated video on type conversion, but let me tell you in a brief in this topic. So if I write the print statement again, and if I write list to make range to a list, and in between parentheses, if I pass numbers and run the code, you can see it prints a list from 0 to 4. It means it stays in the range of 5, which is 0 to 4. It printed a list 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So first it was a range from 0 to 5, but when we do a type conversion, range to a list, it made a list of 5 elements or 5 numbers. We can also create a range with a step. What do I mean by that? So if I write here even numbers equal, and if I call range, and here let's say I give a range 0 to 10, means look in between 0 to 10, and we give a step 2. So what it will do is it will start from 0 and show the number elements after 2 steps. So if I write the print statement and give even numbers, and then if I run the code, you can see it prints range in between 0 and 10, and the step is 2, but it printed as we wrote, exactly like that. So what we can do is we can again write here list to make this a list from range, and then if I run the code, you can see it prints 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8, means the even numbers which are lower than 10, or the range what we gave here. So unlike lists and tuples, range does not store all values in memory. It generates numbers on demand, making it memory efficient. So that's all the basic introduction of list, tuples, and range. We will have dedicated videos on this topic later. So that's all for now. See you in the next one.